Hi lovelies, this is Sheree from Divine Visions. I hope you're all doing really well, considering that there's been so many changes in the world currently. So I hope you're all keeping really safe and that you're not buying into the fear too much. It can be, and it is, a very scary time for a lot of us, and we do have to take our precautions, you know, in being safe. But I just hope that some of you are able to keep positive through this time. And being a Twin Flame Soulmate reading that I'm doing for those in separation already, and for those undergoing challenges, it probably is going to amplify, you know, this feeling of sadness, and being even more separated. I don't even know if that makes sense, because some of you are already separated physically. But I think it's because of what's going on, that it kind of, this collective energy is very heavy. And it seems to be doom and gloom. And there seems to be, you know, this, well, it is uncertain. Everything is an unknown territory now. But all we can do is really just hope and pray and have faith in our hearts that, you know, everything will be working out in the end, and the world can heal. And, you know, it's also given us a time to be really close to our loved ones, our family right now, to be in, well, I suppose you could call it self-isolation, whether you're sick or not. We're all in self-isolation. So in some ways it will bring people closer. And obviously everybody's jumping online now to really connect. So some of you might be in contact with your twin flame or your soulmate. Others may not be. I mean, we are talking about in separation. But it could be that you're not just physically separated, but you're also separated in terms of being able to have a conversation, or be able to even, you know, see what's going on in their life, I suppose, also for some of you who do look at social media. So everybody's in the same kind of boat at the moment. We're all kind of in the waiting game, seeing what's going to happen in the future regarding our jobs and our health, and family as well, like trying to keep everybody upbeat and positive about the outcome. So I really hope that this reading is clear tonight. I've got a different layout tonight, and hopefully there'll be no external noises coming through. You know, sometimes I get the neighbours being loud or a dog barking or whatever it might be. But hopefully it'll be nice and quiet and we can focus on the reading. Now I'm going to be doing this for April, and we are going to be looking at the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine energies like I have in the past. The last reading that I did was a different layout, and I'm going to be using the same layout today. And I'm sorry if it's a little bit darker than usual in this room. As I said, it's a different layout and there's different lighting in here, so hopefully it'll be okay. But let's have a look. I'm going to be looking at the Divine Masculine to start with. And just as a collective, you know, the whole collective, everybody in the world as a collective is really undergoing some mental health issues with this, I have to say. It is causing a lot of depression already in people, a lot of fear and anxiety. But in the twin flame journey itself and the soulmate connections here, some interesting energies are coming through. We're going to see what particular ones come through regarding your reading tonight or today. This is for the Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine. Some of you are having very vivid dreams of your beloved, of your loved one. You're having very vivid dreams. There could be sexual dreams for some of you at this time. We've got the moon in Scorpio, I think it is now, which is to do with sexuality. It's mysterious energy as well. This is the Divine Masculine's energy. This one's come out like that. So the Chariot, this is for, it could be very significant for a Divine Masculine who is a Cancer. And it's time to move forward now and take control, take the lead, take the reins and move forward. We're going to see what that's to do with very soon. But I want to see the Divine Feminine, what's going on for the Divine Feminines at this stage as well. What's going on? I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines have been in two minds about something. about where they're heading in life. Like at a crossroads, or that fork in the road, so to speak. It's a very interesting time for the Divine Feminines regarding this connection, I feel. They're deciding, are they going to move this way or this way? There's a decision to be making right now for the Divine Feminines. It's just coming through right now. And it's a big decision. And some of you might be moving on. Okay. Oh, there it goes, flying on the floor. It's interesting you both have a card that's flying out. All right, what's this one? So the Ace of Cups, beautiful, a new beginning for the Divine Feminines. It's filling that cup of love, isn't it? It's kind of like looking at herself now and thinking, okay, I've got this empty cup in front of me. What can I fill it with? Can it be self-love? Will it be a spiritual kind of pathway? Looking past the illusion, we've got the dragonfly there, which is about illusions. Looking past that, so as we're going through the transitions and the changes in life, being able to see what is the real path to follow, what is going to serve our soul. So, interesting cards coming up, significant cards at that. I've got to try and get that reflection out. The Divine Masculine is pushing forward, he's moving forward with determination. Perhaps there's some focus in his life now. And the Divine Feminine is at a beginning stage in her life. So he's either moving towards the Divine Feminine or away from the Divine Feminine. But we're going to see what this is about very soon. Now, let's have a look here. Yeah, and so this will be the main theme. This is the Divine Oracle. Some of you are feeling even more disconnected, is what I was trying to say in the very beginning. Even though there's a separation, for some reason, this energy, this collective energy of fear of being like this loss, this loss of not being connected. There's been some real anxiety around this connection, about being disconnected. Even though there is a disconnection, it's very hard to explain it, but some of you will understand what I'm saying there. All right, so I'm just going to move these over. I will actually put those back in the decks. So if it comes up in a different part, it'll be interesting. Okay, Divine Feminine. Whoop. And Divine Masculine. I'm going to just push them over to the side because I do need a bit of room to work with here. So let's have a look then at the main theme for the Divine Masculine. Guiding light. This is beautiful. So let's have a look at what's coming up with that. This is beautiful. So the Five of Pentacles shows that there's a loss for him. This Divine Masculine is feeling pushed out, left out in the cold. So it's interesting, we saw the Chariot before moving through. I want to focus on that kind of energy as something pushing him out of a situation, because this is where he's currently at right now, is coming out. There's a guiding light for him to see. And it's interesting, we've got the moonlight there as well. So it could be around the full moon time that he actually is able to get himself out of a situation. It could be an epiphany, some light bulb moment going off in his mind to help him get out of a rut that he's in right now. Some of them are feeling very sad and very down about their finances right now, obviously with what's going on outside. So there could be some financial loss, a feeling of being really down and out about it, uncertain, unsure. But somewhere there is a guiding light here coming in. So with the Divine Feminine right now, she's got the Knight of Wands, which is a fast-paced energy with the Trust. So this Divine Feminine is like kind of like raring to go. She's like, let's bring it on, bring it on. I'm happy to sort of just What am I getting with that? So the divine feminine's in a place of trusting, although she's still ready to just bolt if she needs to. So there's kind of like two energies going on there. On one hand, she's trusting in the process of, I keep hearing, it is what it is, you know. So it could be this connection, it is what it is, and she's just ready to bolt back out. Like, so she's ready to move on to either run, like almost like move towards the divine masculine, or just move into her life as it is, where she wants to go on a new path, as we saw before. It's almost like she's trying to, or has been able to gain some inspiration in her soul, but there is a restlessness within the divine feminines. They don't want to stay still. They don't want to remain stuck. They also feel at a loss because they want to know what's going on in the divine masculine's life. And so with this restless energy, she's kind of like flitting in and flitting out, and possibly some frustration arising too, because for those who have wanted to really push this connection to come to like a union or a reunion, and now this, you know, virus stuff and all the stuff that's happening now has kind of like really put everything at a standstill. So in terms of being able to come forward and have anything healed or worked upon, like things can't be worked upon in the physical realm now. And she also wants to come in, for those who do recognize that their divine masculine is suffering from a business loss or financially or around their home space, this kind of thing. She wants to come in and kind of rescue him in that way, just to even be there as a support. So how does the divine masculine see the divine feminine right now? How is he viewing her? So he's seeing the divine feminine. We see the friendship, the celebrations, and etc. going on here. But he's basically seeing that she's not really open emotionally at this time. So it could be that she's, I just want to see what that's to do with here. Yeah, the Leos are very playful. They want to get out there and socialize. What the hell's going on? They want to go out there and socialize around their friends. He sees that she doesn't have this kind of social energy now, because obviously we can't socialize right now. So he's kind of seeing her closing off, that she's not bold and courageous and energized as he would normally see her to be. So this could be on social media, where she posts up photos of herself going out with mates and having fun and all these things. He's not seeing that right now. He's going to see like there's kind of like a quietness going on in the social media world on her page. And that's for those of you who are, you know, spying on the divine feminine. So I do feel like he sees that she's kind of taken a step back, but even on social media, that she's not necessarily bold and out there, or it's almost like a meek energy, M-E-E-K, a meek energy coming through with the divine feminines, and they're not as bold or extroverted as what they would have been, say, a few months ago. So that's interesting that he's seeing her that way. He still sees that the divine feminine is very bold, like they do have this Leo energy about them. Like you divine feminines, he sees you as being able to shine your light wherever you go, and perhaps you are the guiding light in some cases here as well. For some of the divine feminines will be this guiding light for the divine masculine to help him get out of this rut. But there's definitely a feeling of him being stuck. He's feeling like he's been really let down in life. He's seeing the divine feminine as someone who's just withdrawing from even social media. Some divine feminines might not be posting as much on there. They might have really withdrawn in some way. How is the divine feminine perceiving the divine masculine right now? Yeah, the 10 of Swords, the battle, right, is over. There we did see him going through this stress and this struggle and chaos, right, in his life right now, where it's kind of like his empire has come crashing down. And this is a serious time where people are panicking about their jobs and finances. This is what this divine masculine is up against a battle, you know. It's showing that there's some healing for him to do. He has to reflect and recover, and some of them are just not recovering. It's something they can't recover from. And I'm not just talking about their jobs or their business or money even. There's something that's happened in this divine masculine's life that has caused him to really question humanity, question life, question relationships, question people. There might have been a betrayal also in this divine masculine's life, where he just doesn't trust anybody and feels like, okay, what's happening with this, you know, COVID-19 is just another thing on top of everything else. So it's kind of like, I feel that there's been a build-up. There's been a build-up of stuff for this divine masculine. And he's at a point where he just can't take no more. And this is why we saw that guiding light, because I feel that's his saving. So if it's an epiphany or a light bulb moment, or someone's coming in to help rescue him in some way, but it's kind of like a weird feeling, because even though I feel the divine feminine wants to come in, because once she realizes the divine masculine's not as cocky or arrogant as he may have been, because some things just bring you to your knees, and you know, it's like she wants to come in and say, hey, I'm here, you know, I relate to you and I want to help you. But it's, you know, it kind of feels like this divine masculine's really been brought to his knees, and he is at a place where he just needs to reach out, because most masculines don't want to reach out. They're too proud to ask for help. But sometimes it gets to a point where you have no choice but to. And so this is how she sees him, is that he really is in a place where he needs to, a cold place, where he needs to be able to reach out. And yeah, what's the next card here? So reach out for a new chapter. I mean, the 10 is the end of the chapter. It's reversed. Excuse me. And she sees that, yes, he's due for, you know, this new chapter. A chapter has to be over for him. What is he holding on to? You know, what's he holding on to? What's he not letting go of? What's he holding on to tightly to? Why is he resistant to change? And she sees that it's going to be inevitable for him, that it will be inevitable that he change some aspect of himself. And this, I'm telling you, is going to change him. It is already changing him and how he perceives life. And it's going to give him a time now, and not just for masculines, but for feminines as well. But I'm tuning into the masculine. It's going to really give them time to really reflect on their life, where their values have been, how they've treated people, how people are now treating them. Everything has slowed down, guys, and it's time to look within now. It's time for reflection rather than deflection. And I can see this divine masculine is not liking what he sees within himself, within his life. He's thinking, I've worked so hard for this. What the hell, you know? I've worked so hard for this, and for what? Just stripped from me. So he's starting to have like some cold, hard truths coming through, and the divine feminine can see this. And she's like, well, I've been seeing this for a while, but I'm glad now in a way that you can see this. But, you know, obviously we don't want people suffering. But that's what's going on. He's starting to suffer now. Like he's starting to feel like he's hit rock bottom. And in that dark night of the soul phase, or whatever it might be, he is going to be very helpless and have no idea, be up in arms. And, you know, this might be where he's seeing that the divine feminine is like, where the hell are you? Where are you? You know, when I need you. And as I said before, some divine feminines might be like, wow, you know, I can feel this. I can see this with him. I want to reach out to him. And others might be, as I saw that fork in the road, thinking, do I reach out to him or do I just keep moving on? Let's have a look. Now, what does the divine masculine feel for the divine feminine? 9 of Swords. Yeah, okay. 9 of Swords, there's depression and anxiety, and all is not lost. Wow. So he's really feeling that in this place and state of mind that he's in this state of being, that now this is what's coming through. I feel like in this, it's like, as I said, this reflective period now is making him really look at himself and the past and how he's treated people, including the divine feminine. And he's now going to have no choice but to kind of like look back into the past as to how he's treated this divine feminine, how he's treated you. And with this comes a lot of anxiety and a lot of guilt and a lot of self-blame and shame, things like that coming through for him. It's almost like a repetitive nightmare in his mind of thinking, oh shit, I've lost my job, I've lost this other stuff, but now he's going to start feeling in his, deep in his soul, in his heart, the loss of his divine feminine. It's finally going to hit. Hello? It's going to finally hit home, right, about how much he is missing the divine feminine and what he's actually lost in that moment. So it's saying all is not lost, but I'm looking at it as, okay, he feels like he really has lost this connection, even more so as we were talking before about things happening now and within the collective already feeling this loss and this sorrow and this pain and anxiety at disconnection already. So he's going to really feel it. In his mind, he's thinking about this. He's possibly even stressing about it a bit, that, okay, in the times where I'm really in my dark times, I need to reach out and she's not here. It's that stuff coming up. What is the divine feminine feeling for the divine masculine? Now, we've got the Chariot, which is so interesting because he had the Chariot in the very beginning as well. Now, we did see that she's at a crossroads, or that fork in the road, as I could see, and that she's choosing whether to move towards him or away from him. And it says, embrace your inner child. Oh, I hate this light reflection. The flare of the light or whatever it is. I'm trying to work it out, guys. It's the first layout here. So the Chariot and embrace your inner child, she's trying to move forward because we've got the Cancer energy too, which is about children and the home. It's home and family. And so what I see is that this divine feminine really... it's so interesting. I'm just trying to tune into that because the Leo came through as how he was seeing her as well, which is all about children and play as well. And I feel like she sees him as a little bit of like a wounded child. With what's happening with him, he's a wounded child. He's very... something like this has stripped him of his whole faith in life, in himself, in his abilities. It's kind of like he's really been shocked to the core. And what's occurring with this is that he's like vulnerable, like a child would be if they have to depend on someone else to sort of, take care of them and bring them out of a hard time. And so this divine feminine, once again, wants to come in, and we did see that with the Knight of Wands, which is a Sagittarius energy, by the way, guys, is that she wants to come forward and perhaps embrace him, embrace him and whisk him away out of that sadness that he's in. That's what it feels like she's feeling for him. And some of them might even see that he's been quite immature. How she's standing quite strong on her chariot right here. And some of them might be like kind of looking at him and thinking, have you finally learnt your lesson yet? Kind of like looking at him like he is a child that needs to learn a lesson. Have you finally got it now? Have you got it now? What's happening? Because she's come out quite strong in this, I feel, even though there's a lot of anxieties there still for the divine feminine. They have gone through a lot of this stuff already, emotionally, through different journeys with the twin flame journey, especially in soulmate journey. They've gone through their own dark night of the soul phase. They've hit rock bottom many times. And that's not to say that the divine masculine hasn't, because he has. But I think the divine masculines have gotten busy in their material world, have pushed it down. Whereas the divine feminines have really, being a feeling kind of energy, the feminines feel things really deeply. And they nurture that as much as they might also try to push it aside. They've got no choice but to kind of look at that because it's actually something they're feeling really strongly. The divine masculines, on the other hand, have been in denial. They have been in denial, pushing it down, getting busy, and now they have been forced to really stop and look within. And even outside of themselves, they're thinking, shit, what's going on in my life? What's going on with the world and my relationships and my connections? And they're feeling very alone. Now, let's see. This is what she's coming in. She's kind of like got this strong energy. Yeah, interesting this. So what does the divine masculine, I just want to see what else I'm asking around this right now. What could possibly help the divine masculine to get out of this, to move from this negative thinking, this depression and anxiety that's coming in, that he's losing, or he's lost out on everything, including the divine feminine? What can he do? So he's got to walk away from something, emotionally abandon it. And this is to do with his solar plexus, which is ego, guys. Create boundaries and follow your purpose. Now, no, it looks orange in this. It's yellow. But the Eight of Cups means he has to walk away from his ego. Hello! So this is what's happening. And this is not a bad thing. I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at the divine masculine, but I laugh because I see how much it plays out in their life. And I think it's really awesome in some ways that this is happening, because it gets to bring them down to earth, and it gets them really looking for things at how they are, how they really are, past the illusion. So the divine masculine, even though he's going down into this place of sadness and sorrow, and he is in a dark place, this divine masculine is in a dark place. He is trying to keep his energy up as well. Like, this is something that he's constantly used to, is keeping the energy going, you know, work, bring in the dollars, all this kind of thing in his normal life, and keep the family happy or whoever's around him. But could even be his animals, you know, but it's like he's the provider. And so we've got this point in time where he needs to, in order to let this go, and he needs to let go of the ego. He needs to let go of the fear. He needs to abandon that right now. He needs to come into his personal power, take control. That's what he needs to do. And he will, by the looks of it, because the Cancer energy, the Chariot came up in the very beginning for him. So it does look like he will take the reins. He has that guiding light coming in. But at the moment, this is his journey. So we're going to have a look at the divine feminine, at what can help her. What are we going to see with her? Because what's she going through again? Sorry, I'm just having a quick look here. It's not so heavy with her at this stage. But I will see, I'll just ask the question anyway, what can help the divine feminine right now is to self-reflect. She also needs to go within and have a look at herself as well. And what we did see the Ace of Cups before, which is self-love as well. And this can be definitely a small gesture or a small kind of emotional gift that she can give to herself. A small gesture of love that she can give to herself is to sit down and self-reflect. Now, I do feel some divine feminines should write down what they're feeling at this stage as well. They could do some journaling and really do that inner work as well. This is something that could come through for them to be able to gain some more insight. Look at this. Now, it's so interesting because this divine feminine is looking down at a lotus flower. And that usually represents the crown chakra, which is to gain that higher wisdom. But she's actually looking at the third eye chakra here, so use your intuition to see the truth. So the divine feminines really need to go within to gain some extra insight into their situation, and also, once again, reflecting on their deeper feelings. Some of you might actually be really into the psychic realm. You might really be into, like, on a spiritual path, really learning about yourself, really tapping into your own intuition, your own psychic stuff going on here. Some of you are looking into, like, literally looking into like a crystal ball. Some of you will be doing tarot cards. That kind of stuff's coming through as well. Yeah, so it's interesting because in the beginning we see the current energy with the divine feminine is this restlessness. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's interesting that they're saying to help herself, she needs to go within, look within, reflect, do a self-reflection to gain that inner insight here as well. And some of them might do meditation, that kind of thing can help. Now, what else do we want to know? What are the challenges for this divine masculine right now? well, he's bored as hell. You know, and also I get with this that, well, at the moment, there's not many opportunities coming to him. And he's kind of like, as you can see this girl here with the two women in her ear. It's like he's the middle person here, and he's trying to, just wants to shut everyone out at the moment. So this is the challenge of being, yes, in the present moment, but not wanting to be in the present moment. Closed off to others around him, doesn't want to hear it. What's going on? So yes, this is your soulmate or twin flame. So he's being challenged by this connection with the divine feminine right now. He's challenged with this connection. I think this is also, as we saw before, that he's starting to really look within and feel guilt or sadness or at that loss of the connection, the loss of the divine feminine. I feel like these, you know, two women here on either side of him could represent his inner voice, you know, the voices in his head telling him this, telling him that. So he's trying to remain neutral and really at the same time struggling, because the voices or people who might literally be in his ear about the connection, he just doesn't know what to believe anymore and what to do. He doesn't know what move to make regarding the connection right now. He needs to be able to sit down and take some time out for himself. And I think he's really kicking himself because he feels like he's lost out on the opportunity to heal this or to move again into this pathway with the divine feminine. I feel like some of them are questioning, would she want me back? I'm talking about he, she, he for masculine, she for feminine, guys. So would she want me back? How do I go about this? I'm stuck in this anyway. I don't think it would ever work. This divine masculine is definitely checking up on your social media. And so, especially if some of you are already partnered, you know, with someone else, he's really feeling out of it because feeling very removed, feeling a little numb. There's a numbness there. And I think his challenge is to move out of that place to sort of really connect with reality, rather than being stuck in the past, looking into the past and being stuck in this. He is questioning right now within himself, is this my soulmate or twin flame? And some of them will know, but it's starting to really they're becoming more aware of it. So what's the divine feminine's challenge right now? So we got the world here, which is the success, completion. And once again, the lotus flower is there, which is really interesting because that, once again, we saw in this other one down here. And this, once again, represents, we've got the transformation of the butterflies. Her ability to reach completion with something here. What is this? Well, we got the Sagittarius energy, which came up before for the Knight of Wands, which is really interesting. Being optimistic, philosophical, adventurous. I feel like this divine feminine's feeling it really hard to finally say goodbye to something in her life, to really feel complete in herself. There's something this divine feminine also has started doing but hasn't finished with. So it was a vision that this divine feminine had. And she's now realizing, well, you know, it's a challenge to complete this, especially if what's going on in the world now is preventing her from doing so. But also some of them might feel like they want to say goodbye to this connection, but still keep feeling pulled to it. Yeah, and so are trying to, you know, put their focus on something else, their targeted intentions, but something keeps pulling her back to this connection. So it can be a struggle for some divine feminines to really complete this cycle and move on into something else. What does the divine masculine want to say to the divine feminine right now? Does divine masculine want to say to the divine feminine? Our love is protected. So this is his higher self talking to her. Our love is protected. And I really do care. Because this divine masculine closed off, it feels like, I feel, to this divine feminine. He pulled back, he closed off. I don't even know if words were spoken. It was just like a shut off, like a shut down, closing off, shut down. No communication here. And so he's saying, our love is protected, I really do care. Because the divine feminine felt like, it's almost like he spat on the connection by the actions that he took, or the words he might have said. It was almost like disrespect to this connection, to the divine feminine. How dare you, she's saying, how dare you treat me like that, or treat us like this, like we were nothing. You know, it's really full on, like that energy. There's a lot of anger and frustration and stuff from the divine feminine as well. But he's looking back and saying, well, our love is protected. I know this now. This is why we see the revelation coming to him that, oh my God, this person's my twin flame or my soulmate. What have I done? What have I done? He's in reflective mode. What have I done? What have I done? You know, it's amazing that these revelations are now coming to him. It's almost like he's finally seeing his part in it as well, of how things could have been done differently. So what does the divine feminine want to say to the divine masculine? Because she's feeling like he doesn't give a shit about her. You know? Right. She's saying, I wish you were here. Because she does actually miss him. She wants him to be with her. I wish you were here. And I love you. So the divine feminines definitely still love this divine masculine. They do forgive deep down. Otherwise she wouldn't be feeling a pull towards him, or feeling that she wants to come in and kind of rescue him from this space that he's in right now. Because even if the divine feminines have no damn idea through social media or any way of knowing that he's struggling or suffering in some way, she's going to feel it on an energetic level anyway. And I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize that, okay, well, people are going to suffer at this time, but you're going to be really feeling that energy really strongly from the divine masculine at this time. What does he need to surrender to right now? So surrender resentments. This divine masculine has held on to a lot of resentments. And it says holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward toward positive situations in your life. He's starting to really face those within himself now. He's starting to really identify them, because the feelings that he's feeling that are arising within him are really unpleasant. So that's also something else he's struggling with, is really facing himself, who he has been in the connection as well. So he needs to surrender that, not just towards the divine feminine and other things going on in his life, but towards himself. He resents himself sometimes. So what does the divine feminine need to surrender to? So, well, surrender to the magic of who you are. Some divine feminines have really not given themselves the love. They've really blamed themselves. They've internalized a lot. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that comes from just being you. So it's very important at this time. We saw this before. The divine feminines are going through a self-reflection process. It's a very strong healing journey. It's a strong healing path. But even if you do something really minor, really something small for yourself, to be able to look within, it might be a 10-minute meditation of a day. It could be that you just journal something, in a diary or something about what you feel within yourself right now, journaling your feelings down, looking at who you are, pointing out the positives of who you are. Not beating yourself up now, but looking at life as a journey. There are lessons to learn. That you've tried your best in this. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to hate yourself because of what has been done to you or said to you. Now, I just want to see what this is here. This is for the divine masculine. Oh, wow. sad divine masculine, guys. That says it all, doesn't it? Wow. That just confirms it once again. I feel like crying. It's just so sad. Oh, goodness me, it's heavy energy. All right. So she's saying yes. I mean, this is yes for the divine feminine. A wish is coming true, guys, for you. Let's see what that's to do with. So Capricorn, interesting that we have now Mars, Pluto, and Saturn. I can't remember now what it is. But there's some major planets I've just looked at today, and I can't remember what they all are in Capricorn right now, which is bloody interesting that you've got this, because it's very much about being disciplined, being responsible, having a very down-to-earth, practical way of dealing with things. You're not going to be so flighty with your emotions. You're going to really try and be grounded in this. And so I think that's a really good way to look at life and things right now. As I said before, it's like a lot of the mottos for the divine feminines are, it is what it is. The motto is, it is what it is. And that's very much a Capricorn thing here of it is what it is. Keep going, keep building upon what I've already got here. Keep going is the saying really for this. Keep persevering, because that's what's going to happen. The divine feminines are on a path now, and we did see once again the fork in the road, but once she makes a decision as to which way she wants to go, she's going to be very committed and dedicated to being on that path, whether it be going towards the divine masculine or moving away from that now. Okay, so what will the divine masculine do in this situation with what's going on with him and how it's going to affect this connection? So he wants to come back to the divine feminine, and it's kind of interesting in this illustration because we see him flying up, you know, this angel, can't remember who it was now, it might be Eros or Eros, I can't remember, but we see him kind of offering her a cup, but she hasn't seen it. Like, she's got one at her feet, but she's tied down as well. She's tied up with this rope here, and it's like he's coming in to help her. But the way I kind of see it is that she'll only be able to be free if she's able to accept his cup. Now, I know that sounds bloody weird, but that's how I'm getting this message right now. And I've never seen that message before when I've looked at these cards. But that's what's coming through now, is that if she was to say yes to his offer of this cup, then this rope on her will just kind of like miraculously fall from her. So it's kind of like she's holding herself hostage unless he does something, unless he comes to her. And it's just interesting because this is his action, and it looks like he is going to come to the divine feminine and offer perhaps a cup of, like, an apology. It could be an apology. It could be just something very small, like a compliment or a text message or something that's very small. Let's see what else is coming up with this. Wow. Wow, guys. A text, an email, a social messenger. It looks to me like this divine masculine may reach out to the divine feminine and express some kind of a feeling, because we are looking at the emotions with the cups as well, and there's definitely something coming through with a feeling. So there's an emotion. He may actually come through and say, you know, been thinking of you lately, or something like that, or I care about you, or whatever it might be. He wants to come forward and do this. This is in his heart space right now, but we did see that heavy energy. He is feeling very sad. Want to see in a moment what can actually be the, what am I trying to say there? What can help him to do this? Like, what can be the driving force behind him actually taking this action? We'll see this right now. Well, he needs to believe and have faith that his dreams will come true with you. Because, you know, this is something that he's not really sure of right now. He's in a sad place. Look at this. It will all be okay. He needs to believe that. He needs to believe that this will be okay and that you're going to have your arms open to him if that's what you want to do. That's what he wants to know. And that's what he needs to feel in his heart space, is that, okay, it's okay and safe to venture forward. Because you might have been quite angry at him and closed off yourself. You might have been, you know, unintentionally playing some games, you know, putting stuff on social media or whatever it is so he'll see it. You know, there's all this stuff that can occur. All right, so let's have a look And might have been an email or text message or whatever from you saying, don't ever contact me again. You know, there's something that's stopping him right now as well. So let's have a look at what the Divine Feminine will do, as in taking action towards the Divine Masculine. Okay. Yes, I was going to say the Divine Feminine may not necessarily care either way at this point in time. She might not trust enough to really want to have to work on something in the material world with him, something that's tangible, something that can be built upon, because she's worried that it's just going to be the same thing again, the same kind of pattern where they were building upon something and then he just withdrew. It could be that he withdrew or something happened and then it just fell apart or it came to a standstill. So she's kind of like, you know, it's funny how she's got it back to him right here in these pictures too, because that's the kind of energy I'm feeling, is that she's looking at this stuff they've already built and he's behind the scenes here. And what I see, because this is two people coming together to forge a path to create something in the physical, and she's got a hand up here ready to put the next disc up here, right? But something's obviously happened and they can't build upon that right now. It's got to go back to square one by the sounds of it. That's what she might be thinking. So Gemini, being the social butterfly, being quick-witted, innovative, they're very curious. This Divine Feminine is still very curious as to know what the Divine Masculine's motives are. Why do you want to come back in? Why do you want to build with me? Is this even real? Are you serious? You know, are you really committed to doing this with me? This is something the Divine Feminines are really going to be suspicious of and really want concrete evidence that he's going to come forward and deliver it. So that's kind of like putting a lot of pressure on him, but, you know, the Divine Feminines are thinking, well, you're going to have to step up now. So what, okay, so I'm just trying to see here, what could be the driving force that makes the Divine Feminine choose to do that? There's been secrets with this Divine Masculine. She's not getting the full picture. She's not getting transparency with him. And there's a lot of fear here as well. So she might be taking this action based on fears, obviously, of what happened in the past, not being able to trust in his motives. Once again, things that are hidden. This could be the Pisces energy here as well. Okay, so what have I got? The last thing I want to say here, I just want to see the romance angels. We've got, this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek, so it's just confirming that this is the one. And healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So for both of you, there's been a lot of hurt in the past. There's a lot of childhood wounds to still work on. But there's also healing between the two of you to work on here as well. And as I said, the Divine Masculine's in a place of self-reflection, really looking at himself now, really facing his inner demons, the beast within. The Divine Feminine's kind of looking at herself and trying to heal what she feels about herself as to how she's presented out into the world. Is that good enough? You know, she's really been shunned within herself, like from the Divine Masculine. She feels very shunned. So it's trying to work out, is there something wrong with me? Am I good enough for who I am already? And so that's really made her question who she is and who she is, how that soul within herself. It goes beyond just beauty and attraction. It goes into the soul, like who she is, who you are, what your values are, what you stand for, what your personality is, what your hobbies are, what your dislikes and likes are. It comes down to who you are. And not just what you present yourself out to the world to be. So the Divine Feminine really needs to be embraced and accepted by the Divine Masculine fully and wholly, not just because of this or because of that, but wants the Divine Masculine to really, if he's coming back in, to embrace everything and to mean it. Yeah. And so the Divine Masculines also need to know that the Divine Feminine is going to be there for him and not reject him either, because Divine Feminines have done that also. They've both done it, and they've both hurt each other in a way. Okay, so let's have a look then. I'm just trying to see what else I need to do here. I think I've pretty much done it, so I'm going to choose choose, where are we? Special message from the Divine Masculine to the Divine Feminine here as well. And also for the Divine, wow, hang on a minute. Oh, jeez. Now, the Divine Feminine to the Divine Masculine. Okay. Divine Masculine wants to say, funny how they're reflecting, looking at one another, or the Divine Feminine's really looking at the Divine Masculine who's under the water. So he's kind of like drowning in himself right now. He's saying to her, though, emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. Now, it's so interesting because before they said he has to surrender resentment. So this could also be him saying to her, you know what, I'm going through a very emotional time right now. And I'm not necessarily trying to hurt you, but I've been struggling and suffering within myself for some time now. And I need your guiding light to come in to help me, to help me out of this place and this darkness that I'm in. And I feel like this Divine Masculine really does seek the Divine Feminine's forgiveness as well. Now, what she's saying to the Divine Masculine is, let there be closeness between you, like between us, but always give us, always give each other space. So love never claims, it simply allows and gives. So she's basically saying, let there be closeness between us. I'm happy to give you space if you need it, but don't just back off like you have. So it's like love never claims, it simply allows and gives. She wants to know that when he backs off, that it's not because of something that she's done. Like, she doesn't want to feel rejected by him, but also wants to know that when he does back off, that it's not because of something that, she's done, but that he just needs to do that. So in other words, I think she feels that he needs to communicate more with her about times when he does need to withdraw, and not blame her for that when he does withdraw. Because it is a pattern with this Divine Masculine. He will withdraw, but I think what's happened is that he's not... Well, he might have lashed out at this Divine Feminine as well, but some of them who haven't lashed out, they've just withdrawn and she's felt that it's her fault. So there has to definitely be, yes, a closeness. Let there be close. Let me get close to you, she's saying. But, if you need space, or if I need space, it's not about anything that each one has done to the other. Because when it becomes an issue of why someone's backed off, then the fights start. And then that becomes the whole issue of... you doing that because of me. So it's kind of like misconstrued, I think, what's going on there. The messages are misinterpreted. There's not enough communication. And I think sometimes the Divine Masculines don't even know why the hell they're backing off anyway. But on saying that, in this space, in this time right now, he's got all the time in the world to be looking at himself right now. And that is what's occurring, is that he's going to really take some time to look within and sift through his emotions right now, have the chance to let go of those resentments and really work his way back to the Divine Feminine. And the Divine Feminines definitely need to be able to look within at themselves and embrace who they truly are and be kind to themselves. Don't beat themselves up. They didn't do, not to say you didn't do anything wrong in the connection, because we always do. There's two to tango. Takes two to tango, but I think the Divine Feminines really just need to be kind to themselves and really learn to understand themselves and why they react a certain way that they do as well, and how that can also affect the Divine Masculine in times where he's already confused. So it's just really interesting that's coming out. I still feel like I want to pick one more card. Okay. Not like 100 cards, guys. Just one. Okay, there's 3 here. I'll take them. Wow, forgiveness and goodbye for now. But there's communication. So while you are not able to connect and it feels like a goodbye, there's going to be communication. So I think that is just beautiful, guys. And I really hope that's helped you today. I look forward to connecting with you next time. Love and blessings, and stay safe.